get it in there. I know you are. It's your own fault if everybody knows your business then. Okay, everybody. So we're on Zoom, and my friends are discussing serious matters, but it sounds pretty ridiculous. So anyway, we're here. It's Sunday night. It's been a hell of a week, as usual. When is it not hell of a week? But it's been a hell of a week for everybody. And whether or not you're happy or not with results, it's still Sunday. We are still breathing, and we're together. And that's what life is really about. So here we are. I have a new friend on Zoom, so I'm excited about that. And Renee is dressed as a unicorn. So just take that in and understand that that's what happens. That's what's happening. She's dressed as a unicorn. So as you may know or remember, we've been going on ways to connect and to free your soul. If you're not sure what that means, I highly recommend that you watch the previous weeks to catch up. But when we talk about soul, we're talking about connection to the divine. And that's why I chose to discuss it. Because it is really importante. And today's way, well, first we got to rewind a little bit. Last week we were focusing on creating something to connect to the divine, and I offered the homework to be, does anybody remember what the homework was? Remember me. Well,
I remember doing something, creative. Oh, yeah. That would connect her again, and she said creative.
Okay. Right. We were talking about creating things, but also about actually offering up a little bit of a prayer before you do something creative. So then you can start to channel divine and see what happens with that. Did anybody get to do that this week? I don't know why, but Zoom's on a bit of a lag right now. I can barely hear you. What'd you say?
I said no.
No. I don't know. You guys are breaking up, which makes me really upset because I want to hear you guys. But anyway, so I did it a couple. No, it's not a lie. I only hear bits and pieces of stuff. So I did it a couple of times, and I feel like it did help my creative juice. So gave me more purpose into what I was doing. So that felt good. And hopefully I'll get to see some of your results. If you want to, you can type it on the side, and then maybe I can translate it that way. Vinny, you're asking who's that person speaking? It's my Zoom people. My Zoom buddies are speaking. La la la. So this week we're going to talk about being in your body. This is a way to connect to the soul. All right, let's see if I can hear you now. What are some ways to connect to your body, to be in your body? Yoga, I heard that, kind of. All right. So yeah, physical yoga, the physical practice of asana, is a perfect way to be in your body. And there's something that's interesting that happens, particularly during yoga, which is lovingly referred to as monkey mind, called chitta vritti. And that is when we're in a pose, you're in a pose, and you're focusing on the pose, and suddenly your mind starts to go, this is uncomfortable, I don't like this teacher is mean, I'm so weak, I have to make lunch, I shouldn't be doing this, I don't have time for this. And it starts to tell you this whole crazy story about how everything's a mess. Or maybe there's something good happening too. They're like, I'm so strong and blah, blah, blah. But what? I don't know what you guys are saying, which is annoying. But that chitta vritti is something that's really real, and it happens all the time in our brains, some more than others. So some of my clients are able to get on the table and really blank out, and they have this amazing way that they can either fall asleep automatically. Anybody do this on the table with me? They can fall asleep really easily. Yeah, Billy talks the whole time. Carrie struggles with it too. Kristen has to talk the whole time too. And then we have the reverse where Renee can just go out, right? So everybody has a different way of dealing with it. And that monkey mind, but that's a real thing no matter what. But some people are able to really detach from it pretty quickly. So it's like, tell me your secrets, right? Like, how can you do that? And how come the other people can't, right? Everyone's different. So one of the ways to do that is obviously meditation. We're training the mind to focus on one thing. And eventually you get so used to that if you want to go out or you want to go to sleep or you want to just relax, you can really zone in pretty quickly. But being in your body we don't necessarily want to zone out, right? We're trying to connect to something different, something deeper, in the sense of being with the physical self. So I love hearing like my super, super spiritual people, and they're always like, when you're in the human body, when you're in this, not in the fifth dimension, when you're in this, when you're not flying around. But it's true, when you're in this form, when you are Carrie in that body, when I am Vanessa in this body, it's obviously very important to connect to this body. Now, the trick here is that we're trying to connect without getting that disruptive ego in there. And that's where you have to find a deeper way to connect. So if you're doing yoga poses, we're just using this as like the main example, but if you're doing yoga poses and the person next to you is doing some amazing inversion and their feet are over here and their head's over here and whatever it is, and you're like, oh my God, like either A, I have to do that, or B, I'm never going to be able to do that. And then like all that starts everything else, and it kind of trickles into the rest of your session, and suddenly your class is ruined in some form because you're not able to be present just with your body. So at the beginning of a yoga class, you might hear a teacher say, whatever you're doing on your mat is for you, and the person next to you has nothing to do with your practice, and try to focus only on them, right? What are you guys laughing about? Tell me your secrets, unicorn. I got it. So anybody on Zoom can relate to maybe like pushing it too far when you're not supposed to go farther in a pose, right? That invitation to go to the next level of a pose, you don't have to say yes to it. Believe it or not, you can actually just go, you know what? Today, I don't feel like I have that in my, my shoulders to go and stretch them over my head. Oh, I don't feel like I have that in my legs to go a little further than that. Sometimes it's really okay, and it's really okay to stay in Shavasana if you're just tired, right? So that type of allowance to connect into your body is going to be deeper and deeper than any forcing of any type. And you'll find yourself able to settle into the body. So today, may I use you as an example, Miss Carrie? Okay. So Carrie is not a fan of being on her back when she's getting treated.
Like a turtle.
Yeah, she feels like a turtle? Okay, she feels like a turtle. It makes her feel out of sorts. So I was purposely testing some boundaries and like getting her used to being more on her back. And she really finally zoned in today and goes, you know what? I'm really uncomfortable. I'm going to meditate. And I was like, yes. So that type of, she's, in a way, you could say that she's disconnecting from what's happening, but really what's happening is she's telling her body that I am safe, I'm being well cared for, everything is fine, and now I have this opportunity to connect from my mind, body, and soul, and not just one area. So unwittingly, perhaps, maybe you figured out your way of lying down and getting treated, right? And changing things. So be in your body. But how often throughout
Can you tell?
Could I tell? Yeah, because I started to fall asleep with it. So I always, whenever a client gets like really into it, or really whatever you want to call it, either they're flying or they're half asleep or whatever it is, I start to get super sleepy. Now with Carrie, it has the reverse effect where it makes her feel a little nervous that I'm not with her maybe. So I try to stay awake like that. But yeah, no, I could tell that you were, because I was like, oh, I'm sleepy now. So here's the deal though. How many times throughout the day are you really in your body? And this is something to really check in with, because I think especially as adults, there's a tendency to really just keep going and disconnect from whatever you're feeling internally, especially in your body, because maybe you have an ache, you have a pain, maybe you have pressure to go get things done. Whatever it is, there are so many times that we're not connecting to the body. So in this case, part of the homework is actually going to be to check in periodically throughout the day I'll put little alarms on the phone maybe, and do a body check-in where you're doing a full scan from head to toe of what's happening, what you're feeling, without judging it, saying, oh my God, I feel gross because of this. I feel tired because of this. Like, don't give a because of this. Just check in. Say, okay, I'm a little achy over here. I'm a little tight over here. This is what's happening over here. And we're just checking into the body. So the difference with like a monkey mind's always going to give the rest of the story, whereas we're just trying to bear witness here in this example to what's actually happening, what's happening in the body. And then after bearing witness to that, that's when you would try to direct the energy downwards towards your feet so you can actually start to feel, better or improve, even if you are feeling well, just to feel even better than that. So that's being in your body. And maybe we could feel some more physical examples of doing that. So yoga is always a great one. I think dance is another good one, because that gives you that connection of like how to lengthen, how to be graceful, things like that, how to keep things moving. I feel like things that are more fast-paced are awesome for different reasons, but in terms of actually being connected to that portion of the body, it's more of an after effect of like, well, how do I take care of myself after I just played soccer for that long? How do I take care of myself after a run? So it's a little bit of a different thing, whereas yoga, it's like more in that present moment. And maybe you disagree. Let me know your thoughts. I don't know. I feel like the slower things, like maybe a hike, you can make it into a really truthful be in your body. And that means that you can't ignore signs of pain or warning. I'm looking at my friends over here. So if you're taking a difficult hike and your shoes are fitting incorrectly and you have not enough water, or your backpack is like cockeyed or whatever it is, and you start to ignore everything just so you can make it through, then it's not so good, right? We have to start to figure out, well, how do we do better than that? Because we need to do better than that, right? Because if you can raise your hands, like, yes, Billy says yes. How many times throughout the day, when you finally do settle into that chair or sit on the couch or something like that and go, oh, like, and you start to feel maybe everything that you were kind of ignoring or not paying attention to, just so that you could continue on with your stuff. So that's the goal, is to not do that much, is to really find those moments when you can really connect to, your body, this body that you're carrying, that's carrying you, this body that's housing your mind and helping you do things. You've heard people say, this is your temple. Well, how often are you really treating it like a temple? I think we're more likely treating it like it's just there. We take it for granted until suddenly you get super sick and you're not able to do something, or you're not able to walk, or whatever, you have the issues, and then suddenly we go, oh wow, I didn't realize how good I had it before. I didn't realize how easy it was to do things when I wasn't hurting. So that's why it's really important to check in now. So weeks ago we had started to talk about a lot of self-care things, but this one is very specific, so be in your body. Let's see if I want to go further with the next one. I don't know. Well, this goes hand in hand with being in your body, because it's like, on this website, we're talking a lot about meditation, and they talk more about stillness. So I consider yoga asana as a moving meditation, because you are still focusing on one primary thing, and that directs your intention, and that's how you get into this leveling up, this raising of vibrations. So for people with like a water sign, like me, Renee, sitting still, I don't know how it was for you at the beginning of meditation, but I remember trying to sit still, and it was like the most painful experience of my life. I couldn't understand how people could sit there for even 10 minutes and meditate. It was just torture. So I remember that when we started in school with Qigong and Tai Chi, that was a heck of a lot easier for me, because it was slow movement. So I was able to alleviate that feeling of being kind of tortured, more like being stuck in a sense. And then over time, training myself to do a couple minutes at a time of focused breathing, a really focused attention, it started to shift. So now seated meditation is not torture. In fact, it's kind of a relief. So, those go together though in my mind. Okay. 9:22. I think we can probably start early. What do you think? How you guys feeling over there? Tired? No? Okay, good. Do you have any questions, while I can hopefully hear you, about being in your body and what that means? Yeah? Okay. Can you figure out a time that you've done really well at being in your body?
Usually when I'm outside.
Outside, you can take some note of what's going on. That's good.
Yeah.
How about you, Kristen? Does Pilates do that for you or anything like that?
Yeah. Pilates definitely does that for me.
And then you do, like, the nighttime yoga. Is that different for you than when you do Pilates?
Yes, because it's shorter for one thing, and it's nighttime yoga is kind of self-guided. Like Pilates for me was guided by a live person, so it was different.
Yeah.
Like different Pilates, but nighttime yoga I'm using like just the video. The energy is just different. I get what I need out of it in order to relax, but in order to get myself set for the night, but I'm not aware like I am at Pilates.
Oh, so that's a good thing to note. There's a difference because you kind of know exactly what's going to happen with the video compared to a live teacher, which might give you a little bit of a different instruction. That's good.
Yep.
That's good. I like that. Billy, you have any insight on what helps you be in your body?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay. Mikey, I know you said yoga before. Is there something else?
It's expelling bodily fluids right
Okay,
now.
stop it.
Really?
Eating.
Eating helps you be in your
Does that
body?
count?
Yeah, it can. There's actually whole...
I've been eating.
All right, there's actually whole meditations and things like that about
Mindful
eating.
eating.
Yeah, mindful eating. Not just chomping down on a whole bag of something, but actually like sitting and chewing and really feeling all that. Do you mean it like that, or are you chomping?
I was kind of chomping the whole time.
What were you eating, by the way?
I'm eating peanut.
It was peanut.
Sorry.
I can understand that though, because I say that nighttime is my biggest problem with eating, but I also know that it's my biggest relief with eating because I am using that as like a stimulation to calm down. So I totally do understand that, really. It may not always be as healthy as it should be, but there is something to like bringing that attention back to myself. So I understand that. That's interesting. Okay, cool. Nene, what about you?
Anytime I'm outside. But I feel like I do feel with kickboxing, but mostly when I'm alone.
So that might be a quality to it too that is maybe common for most people, that you have to have some sort of aloneness happening to bring about that.
Or like when I said kickboxing too, only the times when I block everyone else out around me.
Yeah, of course. I used to do my yoga practice at the gym in the middle of like the stretching area, which essentially was surrounded mostly by men, lifting weights and stuff like that. And people would question me about it all the time. I'm like, honestly, it's because I'm using it to train my brain to be able to ignore any distractions. And there wasn't many other places for me to do it. So I was just like, well, it's either I'm going to do it here or I'm not going to do it. And I always felt like I was really like much mentally stronger because of that. Like it really helped me go, this is really important to me. This is what I'm doing. And I don't know. So I do understand like blocking that out too. So that's important. So tonight we're going to do a grounding meditation. It's something that was like written a long time ago, and I'm going to change it around, but that's okay. So you're going to begin to close everything. My head's a little funky right now. My mouth hurts from dentist stuff, so I'm going to be very gentle with myself. Okay, somebody needs to mute. Gotcha. Okay, are we all muted? Very good. So wherever you're sitting or lying down, just make sure that you're very comfortable. And have that initial contact with the breath. So I like to greet the breath as an old friend. Say hi to yourself, say hi to your body. Even if you've checked in a few times with your body today, do it again. Sometimes the music just doesn't want to play. It's okay. Oh, there it is. So now that you've contacted your breath, I want you to start doing the pincer fingers, thumb to index. Take a deep breath in, then an exhale. And you're going to use this contact as direction for each breath. So do not move the fingers or squeeze to the next one until the breath is complete. And you'll keep doing the sequence, thumb to middle, thumb to ring, thumb to pinky, and then reverse it. Nice and slow. And this is a nice way to get back into the body. Feeling your fingertips, feeling your joints. So if you've ever been on my table or anybody else's massage table, I want you to imagine that you're there right now. And you're going to see my hands waving over you very slowly from top to bottom. And this is called an energetic scan. And the scan gives me a lot of information about where things are blocked and where things are overstimulated and whatnot. And you're going to do that with yourself now. So just imagine me doing it for you, and then soon enough you'll get that feeling going. So that every time you think about this, we're going to do an energetic scan, I'll say, and you'll do this throughout the day, this whole week, at least 5 times a day. And you'll imagine yourself on a massage table with me standing right over you doing this scan for you. And if you've never had the glory of being on a massage table, just imagine yourself on the softest, most comfortable bed, being given lots of love and attention. So even though your eyes are closed, you'll still feel this energy flow. It will sometimes feel like wind, sometimes feel like heat, even coolness, and lots of shifting going on. So now that we've contacted the breath, we've contacted the energy field, now it's time to find the body. So take note of anything along the way that might be out of sorts. So maybe your jaw needs to have some space. Maybe your tongue needs to leave the roof of your mouth. Just noticing how things are moving or not. Allow saliva to gather in the mouth. And focus on cultivating the softness around the heart. Allowing the breath to be very gentle. See if you can create some space between your shoulders, allowing the shoulders to go away from the ears, but also to release back towards the ground. Scanning everything, making sure your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, your fingers are fully present and relaxed. And if they're not, don't let that monkey mind get in the way. Just give a breath to each area. To love your body, you have to be in it. To connect to your soul, you have to be present. Now you're going to continue down with your scan, going all the way down to the hips, the backs, and the knees, allowing everything to fall very safely towards the earth, just releasing anything that they're storing. And now here's the very grounding part. Begin to imagine yourself strongly anchored to the ground. Tonight, we'll use a tree trunk. Start to focus your energy downward. Visualize the energy in your body flowing downward to the earth, out through your feet. Imagine your body as a tree trunk. It extends down from your feet through the floor of your house, through any basements, the foundations, and finally breaking through the earth. Continue to imagine this tree trunk traveling down through the earth. Imagine its roots breaking layers and layers of bedrock until your trunk finally reaches the center of the earth. So take some time here to really see the tree trunk traveling down and down and down. Once you've reached the center of the earth, take note of what it looks like to you. Is it flowing with magma? Does it look like a crystal cave? Is it filled with white light? The energy stored at the center of the earth is one of the most powerful, purest forms of healing, cleansing and restoring energy. Imagine the roots of your trunk circling around the healing and restoring Earth Center, hugging the core, draping over it. Imagine this energy as a strong, electric, white current of restoring energy, and follow it as it pulses and flows back up your tree trunk. With each inhale, watch and consciously feel as that healing energy flows up your tree trunk, through the layers of bedrock, through the sediment, through the foundation of your house, through any basements, and finally through the floor beneath your feet. Feel as that energy reaches your feet and flows into your physical body. Continue to follow that energy as it completes its loop through the body. Entering through your right foot, flowing up the right side of the body to the top of your head, crossing over to the left side of the body, flowing down the left side, and exiting back into the earth through the sole of your left foot. Continue to use that loop. So as you've maintained that energy coming up through the core of the earth, as you've helped it bring up into the here and now, into the present, into your home, into your body, allow it to come up that right side and allow it to keep cycling over and over again until you can really feel that connection from your present form to the earth. Sometimes people forget how truly strong the connection from your body, from your physical being, to the earth, how big that connection is and how much it matters. And here you are doing this grounding exercise that you can use every day, and you'll get better and better at it, being able to call upon it and feeling grounded in a short amount of time. And now we're going to take it a step further. You're going to allow all the energy that's filled you up. And now maybe there's more of a definitive color to it. For me, I see white light, like burning bright white light. And it comes up into the body, and it tends to make a home right in the belly, kind of renewing your energy source here. Take note if you feel any heat come into that area. So tonight I'm going to give you the opportunity, but not before you filled up. So make sure you're really, really filled up with this amazing, powerful healing energy. And when that happens, when you feel really, really full of it, when you feel super bright, then I'm going to give you the opportunity to share it. So before you start thinking too much and allow that monkey mind to gather speed, I really want you to think of the first person that you want to send healing to. And you also have the option of not sending it. So just like we spoke of before, when you're in a yoga class and you get that option to go into a more advanced portion of a pose, you have the option to not. So it's the same thing here too. If you don't feel called to send healing, you can keep it for yourself. You could send it to the whole world, but make sure that you're fully burning bright before doing that. And as you call upon this really bright energy, you might feel things in your body kind of almost breaking off. There's no room for them to stay stagnant. So everything's kind of cracking open, moving things around, just like that bedrock. In last week's meditation, you were carrying a flame that you merged with other flames, and then you stepped into the light. And now here we are having the light inside of us first. And you're taking that second manipulation, if you choose to send it somewhere else as well. Now, when you send it out, it should not diminish your light, because you're so grounded and connected to the ground. It's like a never-ending source of energy. So see if you can get that connection now too. If you're sending it out, you're still connected to the earth, and there's a never-ending supply. So if you'll recall at the beginning of this, we contacted the physical body first by pressing the fingertips together with your thumb. And you're going to start to do that again really, really slowly. And every time you press into the next fingertip, I want you to feel this white light being activated. So really see it. Contacting this supreme healing energy. And take note of how it might feel different from the beginning of meditation to now, just doing the same action. Now that we've allowed our bodies to be in full contact with that energy. So you'll do that a couple more times, and then you're going to release everything, just letting go of the imagery very slowly, releasing the fingers, tongue away from the roof of the mouth, maybe that crept back up, releasing the jaw, letting everything remain heavy and relaxed. And as we softly return to this awareness in the physical body, I want you to allow your mouth to really just come into a soft smile for yourself, acknowledging your work, acknowledging your success. Even if the mind wasn't always present, you just trying is a success. So every Sunday night as we come together here, and for those who watch during the week, thank you for being present with each other. Thank you for being patient with yourself and others. And thank you for feeling into things. So as always, if you've missed anything along the way, I highly recommend you go back, including the homeworks. So if you didn't get to do your creation homework this week, go back and check what it was. It doesn't take long to do it, and the results are always to your benefit. So take a deep breath wherever you are. Maybe let an Om out. Do another one with me, and I'll do an Om with you. You feel that residual vibration from any Om that you do. So if you're on mute right now or I can't hear you, I highly recommend you do a couple more and just let that residual go right into that body. Basically sealing in your meditation, allowing all that softness and that power to really just stay there and become more and more parts of you. Beautiful job, everybody. So I'll stop this video in a moment, and if you'd like to come and laugh and be chattery with my friends on Zoom, watch for the next video, okay? Otherwise, the homework will be posted probably tomorrow. Please make sure you explore it, do it. Doesn't take much, but it's always rewarding, okay? I love you all. I hope you have a great night, and I hope you feel hopeful this week, okay? And feel good, because we have to be together. That's our community. All right, namaste.